welcome back. This is section 5.3, test monitoring and control. So basically, the purpose of monitoring is to gather information and provide feedback and visibility about test activities. So basically, the main job of objective of monitoring is to gather information and provide feedback and visibility about test activities. Where do we stand, right? And then test control, like what we mean by test control is any guiding or corrective actions taken. So generally, who controls? Test manager controls. So any guiding or corrective actions taken is called as test control. And test control is on the basis of information and metrics gathered and reported. Okay. So what are the metrics used? Okay. Let's talk about that. Metrics used in testing. So 5.3.1 metrics used in testing. Basically it is about progress against planned schedule and budget, right? So there will be planned schedule and there will be planned budget, how we are progressing. Okay. So common metrics are percentage of planned work done. Okay. In test case preparation, like how many test cases, these are possible metrics that we can use. How many test cases were planned versus how many are completed, how many are remaining. Planned work done in test environment preparation, is the test environment up and ready. Test case execution metrics, in some cases we also collect the test case execution metrics out of say n test cases. How many have passed, how many have failed, how many are yet to be executed, and defect information, how many defects were raised as a part of test execution. What is the test coverage, how many requirements, how many risks, and what is the percentage of code coverage. We also talk about metrics for task completion, resource allocation, and usage and effort, right? How much effort is spent, how much resources are working on testing, how much task is completed and things like that. And then cost of testing itself, right? How much the testing activity has costed till that point. Next is purpose, contents, and audience of test reports. For whom do we prepare a test report, right? It could be for executives, or it could be for the test members, or it could be for the development teams. So in each of those cases, the kind of report that you produce will be very different. Okay. The purpose of reporting is to summarize, okay, and communicate test activity information, both during the testing and at the end of the testing activity. Okay, so typical test progress reports can include, what all the test reports can include, the status of test activities, like where do they stand, and then factors impeding progress, which are the factors that are impeding the progress, which are holding it back, basically test activity, and testing planned for next reporting period. What testing is planned for next reporting period, that is also there will be there in the test report. And the quality of test object, right? How good or how bad, right, the test object is. So that is on the basis of test execution results. So that is also documented. Now we have to talk about summary reports may include, right? What all summary reports can include? The summary report can include the testing that is already performed, okay, deviations, if any, from test plans, okay, with respect to schedule, duration, and efforts, okay, and status of testing and product quality, okay, like where do we stand with respect to testing and what the product quality is, and factors which are blocking and which will block in future, that will also be there as a part of summary report. And it can also include metrics of defects, test cases, test coverage, okay, activity progress, and resource consumption. Till now, how much resources we have consumed, okay, how much resources we have consumed, metrics related to defects, metrics related to test cases, metrics related to test coverage, okay, metrics related to activity progress. All these are documented as a part of summary reports. Okay. Now, we also report any residual risks, if any, and reusable test work products produced. Okay, if there are any reusable test products, right? If there are any drivers and engines that you have developed, or if you have developed any frameworks which can be reused, that is also documented. Okay, so that is 5.3. In this one only I'll combine 5.4 because it's very small. So 5.4 is configuration management. So instead of maintaining a separate video for configuration management, let's combine 5.3 and 5.4. So in what do we mean by configuration management? Configuration management is something like configuration management tool is say for example GitHub, right? What we maintain in GitHub using Git client. So GitHub is a configuration management tool, right? So configuration management establishes and maintains integrity of component or system, the testware and their relationship to one another through project and product lifecycle. That's the ISTQB definition. So through meaning throughout a project and product lifecycle, basically it helps maintaining the traceability. For example, what test cases were executed for against version 1 of the product, what test suite was executed against version 2 of the product. So the product is evolving, the test suites are evolving, right? And the test suites are for example, test suites can also be maintained under configuration management repository. So it kind of it helps in establishing the relationship to one another through project and product lifecycle. Okay, all while doing configuration management, all items should be uniquely identified. Okay, version controlled, and they should be tracked for changes. Okay. Now, what all things we maintain in configuration management? Some time back I was talking about test wares, right? Right from test plan till test cases, till test execution scripts and logs, everything you maintain, that all of them are test wares. Okay, and they are uniquely identified with ID and version controlled and tracked so that traceability can be maintained throughout the process. So we spoke about that, right, some time back. So all the test wares are maintained in configuration management. Now, so that was 5.3 and 5.4. Let's meet in 5.5. That is next section. Thank you.